Here, I'm gonna see if I saved.
Yeah.
I think I want to see if I saved it. Oh my god, that was so dumb.
It's your technical experience and know-how.
We'll see. We survivors up in this bitch. No, where did it go? Great. Oh my goodness. It won't let me get. Is it gonna let me back in? Yes, it worked.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
I've had to do that midstream.
What the fuck?
Streamlabs is cool like that. It saves your place.
It's
It's a new
terrible.
feature on the new version. It's why I get the updates for Streamlabs.
Well, I mean, you don't use Streamlab, or do you? I can't remember.
Yeah. Wait. Are you talking about
Streamlab, the OBS, yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
You set it up.
That's right, I did. I forget. I forget.
Literally learned.
All right, so we're back. That was wild. I hate this fucking. The streaming business is.
We were live the whole time.
No, I wasn't broadcasting. We were live, or it said it was, but I wasn't broadcasting, which is.
I don't hear anything. It might be on a delay.
I'm not playing anything yet. I'm just talking.
No, but we should hear our voices.
I don't know.
Let me
Jesus, this is so dumb.
Anyone hear us? I gotta back out in order to refresh. It's crazy. Oh, I suppose I could watch it. No, I couldn't. I could watch it on the laptop. Y'all here?
Okay.
Y'all come back now.
Yeah. If you're watching on PC, you'll probably be able to hear it. I bet. Yep, everybody can hear us, Rums. Everybody can hear.
What?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. Okay. As we were. Hey. Yeah, Skip made it. So like that right there, like do you want to get that to splash with some wah sound? But you can't necessarily get it.
I was thinking potentially automated wah in there somehow, or just bring it down a track and improve it. you are the one that I go to when I have questions like this.
And that is what we are here for today, sir. This is the workshop.
Hmm. Literally, but I'm lucky in that I have your technical ear more often because my sound has
Yeah, your
improved.
microphone is doing a helicopter thing, like as always.
Damn it!
That's your camera microphone, isn't it? I thought
It's
you
my
what happened to you
it's
using your actual like microphone that you record with? What happened to that? That was working pretty
well,
cool.
I'd have to run the
Too much?
iRig through.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and well, I guess there's no interference now. Let me
Oh.
try.
I mean, if you got some time, give me like 2 minutes and I will get this wall working.
I can try. iRig is hooked up. Let's see. Testing. Ah,
I can hear you.
you can? All right. Sound any better?
What do you think of that?
I like it.
You like that extra bit?
I love it. Yeah.
All I did is I put on that custom preset, and I went because it said on negative for the wah on that preset. So you go positive, and then you have to turn it to high pass filter to the left right here. That'll give you
Oh,
basically
that's what that stands for. So then LPF is low pass
yes,
filter.
yep. That's
Yeah.
essentially what a wah is it kind of just takes those frequencies and it kind of like modulates them more or less. Yeah. So
I'm learning already.
So it's going to take the negative, turn it into positive, put on a high pass, and then I used that course ensemble. I turned it down as far as the depth goes, and you can get that slap back feature that spreads still because it's kind of still stereo. Sounds cool. Now
Sounds really
yeah, what you could do is like you could sprinkle this however you got. I'll save it to, or I would suggest it's in a band, so you can save it.
yeah.
Take this preset to do this and then name it like I don't know, wah preset number 2 or something. There you go. So now you got 2 different presets to do opposite wah effects or complementary more or less.
Yeah, it's more complementary. Is there anything you can do to bridge that gap together?
What right here?
S-
Like what do you mean? Other than
Where there's a big gap in the song because what I
that's
did
where we're
was
at. That's exactly right where we're at. I fixed it or I pulled the
oh
oh, you made it right
that's what
here.
you did.
Oh, shnikey.
Yes, that's what I'm yeah.
Let me see. Let me pull a little old school
Because
per-
that I think that last piece isn't even the
No, we're at
it's
the
the
end.
actual
Check this out. We're
original
already at the
song.
end. Yeah, no, that's the end. I fixed it already.
Okay.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
We'll play it over, and then if anybody else got something for the workshop, you can send it to that link that's in the description. That's up and running now, the Render Force sites, so which is awesome because it keeps me
Oh,
organized.
tell me about that. I don't really know about it.
It's still here. I'll just drop it in the chat for everybody. It's in the description of the show.
Is it?
Yeah, the Render Force site. You send your link in, and it goes to a sheet that it's all organized through my Google account, and I can keep it all organized and stuff. Plus, it allows me to sort everybody and have everybody on a list. So, should a very important announcement or some kind of important update in the future, you guys would get an email and stuff like that. Kind of like one of those things. So it helps me stay organized with everybody, and it helps me get familiar with everybody, get to know everybody, on a personal level as much as I
I
can.
would think the familiarity part would be the best part.
Yeah.
Being
So.
able to,
Well, it's nice to get an email that isn't bullshit, right? At least mine won't
yeah.
be bullshit. So there's that. and it's an easy way to submit everybody's tracks, and it keeps it nice in order. So that's the best thing that I like, outside of all the useful stuff. Anywho,
On a side note, the Sounds community is now up and running and available in both of our feeds.
did you now that you are a senior capitan of that, and I was able to transfer that ownership over you, and you can share it up, can you drop me the link in the chat, and then I'll make sure that I copy
Absolutely.
it. Now I'm only asking you this out of convenience.
That is a great idea.
Yeah, so let me hit play on this, and then we'll see if you guys have anything that you'd like me to jump in. You can send me a join link. Any modifications of your tracks that you guys don't like, you obviously feel free to go back to the previous version. That's why I love BandLab so much. But if you guys have something private that you just want to share for a listen, just to get some advice or whatever, I also take those too. Just send them right into that website that's in the link, or in the description. I'm gonna hit play on this, Ramson.
Oh, how am I gonna? I'm gonna have to do this with the phone.
Hear that other wah kicking in right now? Sounds so sweet. Might have to cut this one right here just a bit. Yeah, that sounds sweet. Yeah, I'm digging that.
A nice fade into
Yeah,
it.
that was pretty
That's
cool.
amazing.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that definitely makes like a pretty cool complementary like side by side, but like having it up full volume right here, obviously that didn't really work real well with playing. So I'd fuck around with that, but yeah, that was pretty cool how it faded like that and it worked. It does give it like a nice distant like crunch because with that chorus ensemble like being set a little bit differently. I turned that treble up. I'd probably turn that like a smidge down, and then I don't know, work with the like a reverb. Reverb would be pretty nice on that too. I'm gonna hit save.
Like Space Maker.
Well, you have the Space Maker on there. I wouldn't touch that because that sounds like pretty good as it is. I'd say like a spring, or maybe even use this master reverb bus that they have. It isn't really like real reverb. Me and Still had a whole conversation about that.
No, what is it?
It's well, I mean it's hard to explain. He actually has a better. He could probably explain it in the chat if he's in here. You still in here, Rainbow? He's got like a better explanation on how to do it. He's good with the technical wording. I'm still learning, so this workshop's also more for me than it is for everybody else. But I like to share what I know and be corrected if I'm wrong, for sure. If anybody knows a better way of doing things, so. But yeah, play around with that. I like that. So we got May's project up next.
It's unusually laid back for what I normally write.
It's very laid back. Yeah, it's not like high speed going 500 miles an hour and then stopping suddenly after like 90 seconds.
I got really stoned. I kept saying to myself, slow down. And
it's always good advice.
Well, I think it was you. I think you set the tempo to 137 on a different project, and I grabbed those drums out of that project and left it at 137.
Nice.
It seemed to be slow enough for me.
Yeah. So yeah, did you catch what I did last night though? With the project. So there's a little trick that I like to do with drums, and it's kind of weird. It's like I can't explain how the glitch actually works, but with the BandLab DAW, jumping the tempo up, speeding the drums up, besides going through that whole process where
I've seen you do it.
If you jump the entire project tempo up, and somehow it translates a little bit differently as far as the key, because it's really weird. Because I noticed that like if you go and you click on the stem, and then you change the BPM like manually through right click and then go to the all the settings and shit, you'll find that like it what do they call it, the audio stretch, it really kind of like changes key sometimes. But if you just change the tempo, just straight up tempo for the whole entire project, it seems to like the complacency's not as abundant, if that makes any sense. It's like it just sounds better. I don't know. It's like
points in the song where otherwise they would stand out as mistakes don't.
Well, they don't sound too distorted for one. As it sounds like a little bit brighter. It's like a little bit more of a crisper sound than just going in and like manually audio stretching that stem.
The tempo, it does change.
Strictly just the tempo, yeah. But it does. Yeah. But it doesn't do it as drastically, I guess, is what I'm trying to point out. It's some weird ass trick that I don't know, got stoned and figured out that if I just do the entire project, because it kind of like, it's like whenever you're in a DAW now, there's a term called bouncing, which is basically mix down, but it's not a complete mix down if you bounce a track. That's the difference between bouncing and mix down, by the way. Otherwise, bouncing actually is pretty much mixing down, but it's not entirely. There's like dithering and stuff involved in mix downs and stuff. Technically speaking, just bunch of bullshit. But where was I going with this? Oh, so it's kind of like doing that by changing the tempo of the entire project, your BandLab DAW pretty much like bounces all the tracks because it has to like reprocess everything now at a different tempo. So it's got like a little bit less processing than the forced processing by just doing one stem. Does that make any sense? Am I making sense?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
it does. It's kind of like
In a
exponential.
weird way, this technique works. It's not ever guaranteed. There's a lot of math to it. If you're just like, I was able to take that tempo that you had, and I have things written down because I like use a calculator on Google and stuff like.
I've been telling people recently, and not to cut you off, but like the way I watched you play and the tunings I watched you play and clicked something in my head, and I started playing mathematically instead. I'd always played mathematically with how I wrote, whereas I would write like four like chord progressions in a row, then six, then four, then six.
Right.
But in this case, I saw the fretboard differently by watching you play and watching in the different tunings that you played, and especially open.
That's what's
I
up.
translated that and I made it like with so like D minor, I can run quarter notes like in fourths. I can go in patterns of two. I can go in patterns of one. I know where I cannot go, so it opens up like a whole new fucking world.
It
As
is pretty
far
cool.
as
So
it is fucking cool.
that open tuning is
That's why there's no mistakes in a lot of my newer guitar work like that.
Is your
Less mistakes
your
than
what are you in,
normal.
open E or an open F?
No, modal E.
Yeah, modal E.
Like
Okay.
that dad one.
Yeah. So the modal, that DADGAD. Yeah, modal. Okay, so you're just up a key. I love playing like
And then
I play the
want,
bass.
if I want it,
I play the bass in F.
Yeah, I
F.
use the transposition. If you like F, no, I'll use the transposition.
F on a bass is fun. It's great. I love it.
And if I don't want to tune to D minor and I want to stay in E, because like that's what the majority of the songs that I've written recently have been in.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now that it sounds pretty freaking crisp. I like it. I like what you're going with it.
That's your chain of effects. That's the chain of effects you set up. Not to keep the feedback from making me deaf, but also I think
it's cleaner.
I had a problem with like clarity of my line. I wanted the rawness, but
well, it still sounds raw. I don't know if anybody else would agree, but I'm kidding. No, it sounds really good. It's like hardcore, but it's like killing them softly. You know.
In that particular song.
Yeah, it's got like a nice soft treble to it, and it sounds and you got that space maker on a guitar. It does wonders, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool.
Absolutely.
All right. So I got Marching Bass Jumpers. This is by May, and we're gonna dive right in because we got the stems here and everything. It's a beat. Let's go. 73 BPM. Okay, I'm definitely a fan of that bass line.
Yeah, that's a killer bass line. Is it looped? I
It
can't
is
tell.
looped. It is looped.
Yeah.
Uh, so this is by
There's like a break in the middle
Hendrix.
that's really cool.
That breaking it in the middle. I'm actually a fan of that one. Right there. And so the thing is
Yeah.
there. So when it comes to like looping, though, there's like there's a rule of thumb for the rule of two, like the rule of three in music. When you're looping, when it sounds like it's gone by twice, then it's gone by twice. And that's actually quite a direct thing to say, and it makes no sense, but it does. See what I'm doing there?
Explain.
Okay, so if it's gone by twice and you think it's gone by twice, then it's gone by twice too much. So with it being looped 4 times, that would be okay if it didn't already repeat 2 sections. Now here, let me rephrase. Let me just zoom in because I gotta use 2 hands for this.
Yeah.
I gotta get a mic stand. So
like these.
like these. You see these right here? Okay, so we got 4. But it's gonna count for 4 measures here. When if you're gonna loop it like that, I'd only do 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. All right, so that's acceptable to do that maybe another time. Like do these 2 links here, these 2 loops twice, that's it. Any more than that, I don't know. It would for me just to like not sound like it's being abundantly looped and overly so. I suppose would be the word to say. It was too much. So a little fluctuation, or maybe I'm not always a fan of key changing or a key shift in loops, especially if they've been identical. But in this case, because it's like a stringed instrument, you can probably bring it up a key or drop it a key just to add some, I don't know, fluctuation that's still keeping the tempo because it's a bass line. So you don't want to do too much to it, but you don't want to take it away. You know what I mean? So where's that happy medium?
Idea of a breakdown.
Yeah. So the happy medium here would be like, I don't know, maybe a change in key, not too much. Maybe just like a half step.
What key is it in right now? I can't
say. Well, there is no key. It says semitones. See, I'd go. Let's see. Do you want to give it a shot? What's gonna do it? Because I can actually do it here. Let's try this.
Make sure you share it with me.
My bad. There you go.
I like to see.
I forget that I have to do that separately. All right, so I have it. Okay, I have it. Here's the 2. So we could do every other, and then maybe like jump up once, go back to bass, jump up down or jump down. So we can go jump up 1 semitone, and then bring this one maybe down, and then maybe I got them backwards because I see this song is gonna end on the same thing going twice. So maybe let's try. Okay, so this is down, that's up. Let's swap these. This might sound goofy. Let's see. Sounds crazy. Yeah. That's pretty cool. That's one way of doing it, and then like what Phantom was saying, and you can keep it that way if it's going to be overtly repetitive. he said, coming from a club standpoint, I think it'd be okay if you added some fills and then just added some stuff for the third and fourth repetitions that would keep it interesting, which is basically what I was saying. It's on the simplistic level of being made right now. So all of these, I hope, would inspire. Maybe you do it all. You know, I'm not opposed to that either. Changing and playing around with your stems and turning dials is the best you can get to education, other than sitting through boring class and having somebody tell you how to do things without you actually getting your hands on it and figuring out from mistakes. And I've made a lot.
It's getting your hands dirty and
Not so much dirty. I mean, my keyboard's pretty clean, so it's just putting the time in. And everybody's got different levels of experience in different areas, and we've all done different things with our sounds. And I'm not opposed to saying I'm wrong if it's a technical thing that has been weighed against, you know, science and proven it, you know, for real. So like, always be open for learning new things, but don't ever be opposed to thinking that you can't learn either, you know, because that's where like some of these people go wrong. I think they get big headed because they're confident and they found a sound that works, but it's such a narrow lane once you find your sound. I don't think really anybody has their sound. They have a sound, and I think everybody should be open to changing that sound up at all times, because then if you've got plenty of avenues to explore, you know, you never know what you'll find.
Things don't get boring either.
That's true.
You know,
Anti-genre, baby, anti-genre. You know what I'm saying?
Well, there's certain artists that are very recognizable with their sound, and some things, to me, it gets repetitive.
So there was a muted track on here. What is this? Ha. So like that could go perfect. Do I have to yell, or is it? Yeah, because I'm like far away.
Yeah,
okay.
Gotta bring it up a little bit.
All right, so that's perfect. Here, I'll put it in my underarm. Haha. This is pretty cool.
I'm surprised you haven't figured out a way to hang that from the ceiling.
It's my performance microphone, so I'm not really trying to make it that fixed. I have a cup. I put it right there whenever I'm not using it. You know? It's like I have a cup. Yeah, cup check. Here we go. Let's see what that sounds like. See, with that being in the background, we don't necessarily need that keychain. Change keychain. The keychain. I love it. All right. So, this is a perfect example of having some extra interesting added to it. Now, my only suggestion is that, like, if you do repetition on like loops and stuff, on BandLab it's a little hard because they limit the amount of tracks you're getting. They're rolling out a 32 track, by the way. That's what it was announced. So, Cakewalk Next is so full of bugs right now, but it's working. Yeah, they're updating the DAW to 32 tracks. Well, I mean, how many tracks are you working with usually, though? How many tracks do you like on any given day? That
on average, like 5 to 8.
Okay. Yeah. So when you get to like past the 16 mark on the next, it gets a little buggy sometimes, especially if you're importing from BandLab. I've found. So I've been taking notes since the beta started, and I'll be submitting them. Hopefully, I'm not alone in this regard, so that it may be actually a factor that they pay attention to. Just simple little bugs, like between the online profiles and the DAW itself. It just gets, but I mean, it works really well, astoundingly so. You know, more than what I was expecting, but it just gets a little buggy for me still.
I found when I get up there in tracks,
It's the effects, I
It's
think.
more my computer and how much it can handle. Like if
Right.
I've got if I'm using pitch correct at all, or I'm using one of the
Oh,
heavier
you mean like in the
effects.
actual browser DAW? Yeah. So like in the browser DAW,
Yeah,
it's like because you can't do buses, which would be great. Because in any DAW, like I see that whenever you import your songs from BandLab into the Cakewalk Next DAW, it still gives you that. It'll give you that reverb bus or the shared reverb bus. um,
yeah.
it just does it automatically because it kind of like considers it a bus, which is interesting. So if it can translate from a browser-based DAW to the Cakewalk Next and still like see that as a
Oh,
bus,
you're talking about the little reverb on the side there.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So it translates into a bus, which is pretty cool actually, how it just automatically does that. So
yeah.
the programming is like slightly there, so buses aren't too fucking far fetched to do. I know it'd be interesting if they ever like got there, but overall, it's pretty cool. But what I was going to before I got distracted is that because we don't have too many
Tell
tracks
me
to
that.
work with, what I do is like if I ever like get like a certain point to my beat, but I want to make it a complicated beat, but I don't have, you know, a uber amount of tracks to work with. We're restricted to 16, but we have a prominent amount that is pretty much done. But we want to add more. We want to be able to play with more, but we don't have to worry about all that processing. Mixing down your selection and then re-importing it in, and then that frees up all the space. That's something that I always do, especially when making beats. And then doing that, and with that in mind, a perfect thing to try would be to segment these beats and then maybe like stretch them just a smidge out or add a little bit of reverb to it or any kind of like space to kind of like make them blend together and then fade them in and out at staggered positions. Does that make sense? So you'll have the
Overall
loop,
mix.
you'll have the loop staggered. So you'll have one track, an upper track and a bottom track. And here I'll just do an example of it.
Make sure you share it.
Yep. Okay, so this isn't going to sound right, but I would always like, because when we play our instruments, we have like a little bit of like a feedback trail or tail, if you will, or prior to the actual recording coming. I would leave those sections just like a smidge before and after the loop stem, and then what I would do is I'd have them staggered in this way so that they would bleed in and out. So it's kind of like it'd be an effect
So you
loop.
wouldn't want to fade them at all.
No, they're
You'd
fading.
want to
No,
do the
yeah, no,
opposite.
no. The leading in loop is going to fade out, while the leading
Yep,
in loop is going to fade in. Does that make sense?
that's what I thought.
Yeah. So you'd stagger it in this way, so it kind of like has like this real cool. Well, first of all, it's really cool sounding. If you can adjust it just right, you get like a really, really awesome. Like it's hard to describe. It's an eargasm if you do it right, But but also it kind of like adds that needed distraction, but not a distraction that it's a positive one. If that makes any
Doesn't
sense.
take away from the sound.
Right. See that? Actually, actually seemed to pretty cohesive.
It was seamless
Yeah,
almost.
yeah, it was pretty good. So, like, this is a tactic that I do whenever I do like guitar loops and stuff. If I ever choose to do it, I don't do them often. Um, but whenever I have like a pretty cool sound that I like that's made by guitar, and I would like to loop it, uh, this is the strategy that I use, and it seems to work really well. And I don't know, it's just like hard to describe the amount of distraction that is pulled away from your because right now we have a lead playing a solo right now, but it doesn't take away from the solo. It almost, in fact, enhances it by having it kind of do that. What's it called? Pumping. It almost feels like it's pumping. Really.
And you can add a completely different chain of effects, right?
Yes. Yeah, you could if you wanted
That's
to.
another advantage
If you
if you
wanted to,
wanted
but
to.
yeah. So then you'd have like an on and off
Or you
thing.
could tweak things differently. You could have a lot of variations in that one segment.
Sure. Yeah. So like, if by doing this you can have the same sound, but you can repeat it, but it kind of has like there's a blend effect that adds to it, and it makes it sound really cool. So it adds like an even more of a layer of technicality, I guess. That gives something to go back and listen to whenever you, because like the best tracks are the ones that you can go back and hear something that you didn't hear before. This is like one way to basically shore up, that feeling that the listener is going to get when you're hearing the instrumental.
And wanting to hear it again.
Well, they're gonna go back and they're gonna hear something that they didn't catch before. Like that's the kind of music that I like listening to, is that stuff that kind of like, I was like, wait a minute, okay, I didn't like I heard it the first time, because everybody focuses on, like, if there's vocals, they're gonna hear the vocals, they're gonna try and hear what that vocalist is saying, or if the instrumental is like really really awesome, you know, there's always like one focal point that the listener is gonna hear the first time around, or the second time around, or the third time around. But the tracks that are like the best in history for me are the ones that I go back, even to this day, I'm gonna find or hear something that like I didn't catch prior to me listening at that moment. I like stuff like
Yeah,
that. So
yeah.
I always try to like find things like that to put into my music. So even if your musical skills lacking, production wise, if you do stuff like that, it makes up for that kind of flaw. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. I've seen it happen quite a few times. I record stuff on the
Yes. Okay.
iRig, and
Well, there you
it
go.
comes in real hot.
Yeah, mate. Also, yeah. You can stereo them. Also, like, it works. It does. It's really cool. So you can take this and play around with it. I'm really, really excited to see what you come up with. And hell yeah. So I hope this little talk is helpful. I've got time for one more link, and I think, who do we got? Let's see here. Hey, Rue, I'm gonna get you on the next workshop. Is that okay, Rue? I hope so. I got Phantom's link if it's gonna work, because he was next.
That should be interesting.
This one's his stuff's always fun. Is it gonna? Oh, okay. Here, I see what's going on. It didn't
Doesn't
turn.
he work with different DAW?
He uses not Fruit
Like
Loops. Yeah,
Ableton or
no, it's
something,
Fruit Loop
right?
actually. Isn't it Fruity, or is it
I used to use Fruity Loops back in the day, back in like '04.
Why is it not copying this?
We had Acid Pro too.
Are they a professional at
You'd get like
Acid?
5,000 fresh samples, and you'd be like super excited.
Why is it not?
Your video's freezing a little bit.
It happens. My computer's thinking.
Punch it.
I don't know. I don't think I can get into Phantom's link. Okay, because it's he forgot to hit the space button or something. I don't know. It's giving me the entire link, and I can't go in and edit my form. I don't feel like signing into my Google account right now. So, I'm gonna get. We're gonna do Rue. If I can get it to work now. Here we go. My computer's being weird. Is everybody still with me? You still got me, Rums?
I got you.
Okay, cool. All right, we got Rue coming up next. Let's dive right into this.
I think she said in the chat that this was one that
That I had
you were
produced
working on
prior.
with her. I think you have a few new tricks up your sleeve.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. This is called Highway Blues. All right. What up, Rolo?
Rolo. It's so nice not running the show.
Isn't it great? Run it, sitting in the back seat.
I almost feel like it's joyriding, like I should be ticketed or something.
All right, I'm gonna hit play.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4.
This, by the way, is the competition link.
Don't know where else to go. I'm on the bus ride home. Don't know where else to go. So I take the far way home. Who knows where I may go? But I'm here for the ride. I'm here for the ride. I'm here for the ride. Here for the ride. I'm here for the ride. I'm here for the ride. Gotta give it a side. I'm here for the ride, the downright blues.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do right here, or suggest, is that sounds like that's probably your chorus there, right? I've got some really like uber sporadic guitar playing, so I never know even on my own produced instrumentals. But so for like the chorus, I would say the fade thing, like we just did, that you just saw us do with the staggered loops. Always when you're having separate clips bleed into one another, or if you're on a punch in, you always, anytime that you do not see color, or a stem or any kind of region that's available in that stem, anytime you see them have segments or cuts, you should always have your fade in and fade out, regardless of what you're doing, because that'll prevent the clipping and the popping sounds that you'll get whenever you crank the volume up, because you don't hear it at a low volume. But if I say I had a vocal and I cleaned it up and I took a breath sound out, for instance, this is something that I've learned over and over and over and over through practice, how to basically, what's the easiest way to get a breath sound? You take it out. And it is a lazy approach to production if you just choose to ignore it and then put a noise gate on it. Because what noise gate's going to do is when you get into like a point of the stem or a vocal point that is like needs to be expressed at a low volume, but you accentuate and enunciate it, but it's such at a low volume that gate just starts cutting it out, and then you get shitty stems. So never use a noise gate on vocals unless you have like the AC on in the other room and it's unavoidable. Noise gates are absolutely a no-go for me. What do you think?
I have certain presets that I use that act as a filter for vocals and give like almost like Butthole Surfers type of megaphone type vocals. In that particular chain of effects, I've got the noise gate set at 52. Otherwise, no, I don't use it for vocals unless there's a lot of like
background noise,
air in the room. Like you don't want to clip out, especially on like 6,000
right,
for the treble. You don't want to clip that frequency. You want to give it a better ceiling.
So, and with that, so whenever if I'm not using a noise gate, so the next best thing is to get these clips to mesh, is to have that fade in and fade out like I'm doing right here. Now for just jumping off on just regular, these are no effects stemmed, by the way. Rue, your voice is amazing as always. Let's see what that sounds like. Good transition right there.
I'm here for the ride. I'm here for the ride. Here for the ride. I'm here for the ride. I'm here for the ride. Gotta give it a side. I'm here for the ride, the downright blues.
Yeah, Yeah, so you hear that? It didn't sound like that. Those vocals came slamming in. They kind of glided right in. You know what I'm saying?
Next up on the slip up. Oh yeah. Next up on the slip up. Oh yeah. Next up on the slip up. I'm gonna rip up. Next up on the slip up. I'm gonna rip up. Oh yeah. But I'm here for the ride. I'm here for the ride. Gonna give it a try and see if it'll slide. See if it'll dive. I don't ride it on the sideway, highway to the hell. On the sideway, highway, highway to hell. I'm on the highway to hell, and I'm gonna give it a spell. Gonna give it a well, and then we did tell.
There's a lot to unpack there. One thing.
Not done yet.
I don't know.
Not done yet. Sorry, I'm trying something. I see, like I'm doing like the Drew Carey. What's that show that Bob Barker used to do? Price is Right. So I gotta have the mic. I gotta hold my microphone. You know, come on down.
I gave up on it. I laid it down. It's
Gonna rip up, oh yeah. But I'm here for the ride. I'm here for the ride. Gonna give it a try and see if it'll slide. See if it'll dive. I don't ride it on the sideway, highway to the hell. On the sideway, highway, highway to hell. I'm on the highway to hell, and I'm gonna give it a spell. Gonna give it a well, and then we did tell. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
This is awesome.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You got me feeling mad. You got me feeling sad. I don't know if I should be glad. Don't know if I should be glad if you had it in bed. Got the highway blues and I don't know what to choose. Got the highway blues and I don't know what to choose.
I love it.
But all I know is that I'm feel freaking used. All I know is that I'm feel freaking used. All I know is that I'm feel freaking used. All I know is that I'm so freaking used, freaking used, freaking used, freaking used.
Good shit, Rue.
yeah.
That was pretty cool. So Rue actually, that granted, my guitar in that is redonkulous. So she kept up pretty good, and so kudos for that. So I hope that the advice that I give you,
The acoustic's great.
yeah, I fucking did my thing on that guitar. So to take away from this project, my advice on the on the vocals, yes, it's a tedious thing. Yes, it's the long thing to do. And is there a quicker and faster way? I'm sure there is, but like listening to the sound of your own voice, which is what everybody's akin to doing on the daily, if you're on this app, you more often hear your shit more than anybody else's. And whenever you have that objective moment to listen to other people's stuff and not necessarily judge, you'll be like, oh, how did they do that? Or, oh man, I should have did that. Well, listen to me when I tell you this. You got to listen to the people that tell you to listen, first of all, right? Right, Robbie? So
Yes.
what I'm telling you is this is coming from hours and hours and days. Like I have like months of hours put into just recent past year worth of shit through trial and error, you know? So these are words of advice that come from experience. So I hope you take them and you utilize them. Because the point here that we're trying to do with our music, if anything, is yes, it's fun, but we also want to leave a legacy, right? So passing on knowledge is a part of that legacy and learning it as well. And to be able to point out when somebody's wrong. So that's the beauty of this workshop, is that I get to be in that position with y'all at the same time, because we're all equal here. Yeah. So that was a beautiful project. And we're gonna be ending the show here now. When this starts kicking off, Yeah,
thing,
I'm gonna
in
get,
that
yeah.
particular chain of effects,
Hmm.
if it's not in there, I would try a de-esser and play around with it.
I gave her
There's a
I
lot
gave
of
her a vocal effect, by the way. Rue, I'm gonna save that for you. I gave you a this is actually a high pass filter EQ that I saved into the project. I centered it with your vocal stems. Feel free to save that and utilize that. That's just going to be like a simple EQ that you can use for your vocals. I don't know that I have a noise gate on there. I always leave that as an option, but I always have that off, like I said, because when I go in and I clean up my breath sounds, I just kind of like do that fading thing. So don't forget to do that fading thing. And this is sounding like a really, really cool project. So got all month to clean it up, surprise me, make it sound cool. For those of you that don't know, there is a competition for $25.
country.
$25, man. And you get your name put into the hat for a drawing for 50 2 times and then 100 at the end of the year. So that's a lot of money. So
I like it.
Yeah.
I entered.
Yeah, but we don't count though. It's just fun. So and that was one of them. Actually, there's two competition beats. So but more details on that on Saturday at Sounds of the Underground with Rummy over here. So but when this thing starts getting rolling, I've been kind of slacking. So I've got some pretty cool informational videos that I want to share that ain't so fucking boring. I'm going to highlight segments, and I'm going to be making some more stuff on YouTube. I just recently put up a video on how to get your presets into that new DAW, the Cakewalk, so from BandLab. So I hope it explained and helped people if they've seen it, and if not, go take a look if you're trying to figure out how to get your BandLab presets.
It was a genius way of getting them in there too.
Yeah, I mean, somebody else would have figured it out eventually. It wasn't really too hard, but it took a little bit of thought, but it works and it's awesome. So that's it. That's all I got for you guys on this workshop. Me and Rummy are actually going to play some guitar here in a little bit. We got a couple of things to work out. So till next time, guys, I love you.